Hello, everyone. Welcome to Embody Prosperity. This is a retreat designed for women entrepreneurs, for visionaries, leaders, healers, coaches, transformational facilitators, and really anyone who is just seeking to embody that natural state of prosperity in all facets of business and life. And the potent conversations held within this sacred container will act as a portal, inspiring new ways of shifting your awareness and elevating your inner frequency so that you can attract the abundance that is your birthright, the abundance that you already are. And today, this amazing individual is someone that I want to introduce you to. She's one of the main people responsible for really getting me started on my path of feminine awakening, of feminine wisdom, and tuning into my embodied feminine essence. And she's widely followed and has helped thousands of individuals on their journey of returning to their true nature, to their divinity. And I'm just so honored to have her with us today. Her name is Sofia Sundari. Welcome, Sofia.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so touched that you have done Activated Women and you have been really involved with my work. So that's awesome. I'm sure that the conversation will be deeper because of that.
Yes, absolutely. I feel very, very resonant with your work, with your teachings, and even your latest series, the Creator Series, which eventually the participants are going to get as a gift, which is an amazing gift. Yeah, we're connected soul-wise, I feel. So I'm very excited to have this conversation. So a little bit about Sofia. Sofia writes about herself. I am an entrepreneur and a transformational leader with a focus on spirituality, leadership, and embodied intimacy. My mission is to serve love and to support bright humans on their path of inner growth and surrendered leadership so that they can shine in full service to love. Since 2012, I've held over 100 transformational events worldwide, written a best-selling book, and created a dozen of online courses. I am the founder of Sundari Mystery Trainings, host of Boundless Love podcast, and CEO of my 7-figure brand. I've created a brand fully dedicated in service to love while focusing on pleasurable life, deeply attuned with my feminine body and prioritizing my dharmic relationship with my beloved. My network consists of over 150,000 bright humans. Over 30,000 of these people from over 80 countries have been part of my programs. They claim that my work has transformed their lives and supported them in returning to their innate beauty, authentic leadership, and most importantly, love. So beautiful. I love that. So, Sofia, today we get to talk about ecstatic wealth. And that is just an absolutely amazing, juicy, and exciting topic. So before we dive in, though, I would love for, the attendees of this retreat to really kind of get to know you a little bit, and just maybe if you could share about your story, how you became such a success as an entrepreneur in these fields of spirituality, leadership, sexuality, intimacy. I would love for them to hear a little bit about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you so much for this intro. And of course, happy to share the story. I've come a long way, really long way, and I feel that my journey has been actually quite slow and very thorough. That's somehow been really a part of my path, because now I see some people just now we have access to tools which just skyrocket our success very fast, and I didn't have access to lots of the things. And what shook me up was not an inspiration, or was not a nourishing environment. What shook me up was a death of my best friend. And it was an event that came so unexpectedly. It was back in 2008, and it showed up so unexpectedly. I couldn't have anticipated that in any way. I was about to see him. He was my boss. He was my first spiritual teacher. He introduced me to the work of Carlos Castaneda. So he was he was the only person that we could speak the same language, because I was I was always interested in like the world beyond what we see in the 3D. Like I was interested, I had a sense that there must be something more to life than what is normal, kind of, you know, normal way of growing up, going to school, then going to uni, then getting married, trying to get successful, buying a car, buying a house, and basically that's it. Like I felt there must be more than that. And no one could really, like everyone just would tell me that I'm just from a different planet or something, probably. And I felt quite isolated and actually not belonging much of my life. And then he was that pillar who really, like it was the first time I really felt I really had a soulmate. And so he died unexpectedly, and that shook me up. That shook me up, and that made me reflect on my whole life. It made me reflect on how I was spending my days, how I was working at the job which I was not inspired by, that the values that the company was standing behind I was not connected to. That I was working basically like from morning to evening and then waiting until Friday to get drunk and disappear for the weekend. I was like, there must, like, I must change this. There must be a shift in my life. And it was slow. So it took another couple of years from that point, maybe a year and a half from that point on, and other painful events, and then I unexpectedly got fired, and I got depressed, and lots of things were kind of making me spiral lower and lower down, so that I really own that decision to go like, okay, what is more to life? Like it didn't happen instantaneously. And then I came across personal development material which was speaking about quantum physics. Basically, at the time I didn't know, but now I understand that it was the work that was about claiming yourself as the creator of your reality, and that blew my mind. I was like, wait a second. So it seems like all the things that I was intuiting as I was growing up, and my interest in the subtle and the philosophy or psychology, looking for some kind of answers to the questions, I didn't even know what were my questions, but I came across that book. And actually, even the way I came across that book, it's like I felt so low in myself that I felt, okay, my real problem was, I thought, that I was not confident enough. That's how that's where I kind of found the root. And then I came across that material somehow, by some miracle. It was presented to me. I just downloaded it from Google. And I was mind blown. Basically, in a week, I changed my life. In a week, I really started asking myself questions. What do I really want? Like, if I could have anything, what would I really do in my life? And the only answer I had at the time was that I needed to leave the country I was living in, Russia, that's where I was born, and that I needed to practice yoga and meditation. I didn't do much of that at that time, but I felt there was something. I felt somehow special when I was doing it. Somehow special was awakening in me, some kind of special energy. No, I wouldn't even call it energy at that time. I would say I felt pleasant somehow. I felt nice, something like this. And so basically I understood that that's what I wanted. That was only one step I could see ahead of me, like one step that made sense. To leave and to be in India, because that's where yoga seems to be popular, and be there. So that's how I took off. And since then, so now it's been 12 years, a bit more than 12 years since that happened. And those 12 years have been incredible. I went very deep into yoga, very deep into meditation. I came across Tantra, but Tantra not in a sense how we know it now, that Tantra is somehow related to sexuality, but more as a spiritual path that includes being active in the world. So recognizing our inherent spirituality and yet still participating fully in life. So that was incredibly fascinating to me. So I stayed in the school and I studied for 4 years, and I spent another almost a year in a prolonged meditation retreat. So I just went all in, full on, like, you know, I didn't have any other life. I just had my spiritual practice. And in the midst of it also, somehow I was unpacking something that I started to get moved to do. I started teaching yoga, but then I felt I wanted to bring a different kind of approach to my practice and to the women, because everyone seemed to really yearn for a different type of approach to spirituality, which was not provided by traditional approach to spirituality, which is meditation and yoga, which is all very masculine approach to practice, where you just sit with your eyes closed, or you do some repetitive movements, or just hold asanas and so on. And I felt I wanted to find God in aliveness. I wanted to find divinity in the body. And so I started facilitating mystical dance for women. And that was a way for women to awaken the wisdom of the body and be moved in a devotional way, be moved from inside. And so that's how really that was the start of my business. I had no idea. I had no idea when I was my first workshop, and I think I was charging maybe $7 or something. It was in Thailand, and I had 2 women showing up for my first class, and then slowly it built up on itself. And then eventually I realized that my work, and then I started facilitating retreats and trainings, and then I started to feel that my work was my way to commune with the divinity. I felt that when I express myself with such purity and allow something greater to move me, and that's how I feel when I facilitate, I feel like I am communicating with the spirit, and I still feel that way. And when I felt that, like boom, and I understood that actually I have to make it into business, because if I don't, it would be betraying that purity that I feel on the inside. Yeah, and so from then, fast forward, all the things that you introduced me with.
Yes. And it seems that I relate very much to the slow journey into, the slow initiations, and not the overnight success that we all think that, we read bios and think people have these overnight successes. But yeah, it's absolutely such a journey. And I think yours shows that so beautifully. Wow, so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So let's talk a little bit about the role of erotic aliveness when we're cultivating prosperity. Like, what role does activating our erotic nature and our aliveness, like as you called it, play when we're seeking to align with that frequency of prosperity?
Yeah, I love to talk about this, because I feel like it's frequently overlooked. Because when we talk about prosperity and wealth mentality, there's a lot of mentality. Basically, we speak about beliefs and what are the patterns and what did we pick up along the way and where did we collect all the scarcity that is so strong in our collective. So much of that is about beliefs and about the mind and the subconscious mind. And it's like beautiful work really needs to be done. And yet I feel that what is frequently overlooked is the body and the soul. Really, like, it's the impact of the body and of the soul on everything else, on the kind of life we create, on the prosperity and on wealth in all ways, and not only financial, but just how wealthy we really feel. And we cannot just think ourselves into wealth. We have to embody it. We have to feel it, really. So yeah, that's where I feel the work on cultivating energetic body, speaking in yogic terms. So we have this energy body. So just like we have the physical body, we have a body that surrounds us like a glove, like that surrounds the physical body. We have the energy body, and it extends for about 2-3 centimeters or sometimes more. If we smoke, it's smaller. If we kind of have lifestyle that is really like we absorb lots of toxins and have kind of toxic patterns in life, then it tends to get smaller, we tend to shrink. And if we really actively invigorate the energy body, then it tends to shine and become radiant. And you know what we notice in people, they're radiant. Sometimes we see people, okay, maybe a woman can be older, or she may not look like a model. It also can be in men. Yeah, it's not really even gender related, but it's sometimes you have this like a certain you see a person and there's a certain charisma about them, there is a certain magnetism about them, and it has nothing to do with their looks. They are beautiful, but it's not about specifically their looks. And that's the rich energy body, basically. That's what it is. We are drawn to that warmth of this richness of the cultivated energy body. So that's the part that I find we really need to focus on to cultivate. So
yeah, that's beautiful. So in terms of that, like if we go deeper into that, what do we have to let go of in order to begin to enrichen it and to fertilize it and to grow it?
Well, for sure we can look at things to let go, but and patterns and just self-destructive habits, which we tend to have and just overlook them. But I think maybe we can think even more like positively what to open into.
What do we want to add to ourselves? Yeah. To grow it.
Let's focus on the abundance, like how to bring more abundance. So I would say, first of all, is just, very basic, like moving the body, like really doing something for the body that is good for the body, like making sure that every day we are moving the body in creative ways, and not only in like those linear ways of like, okay, exercise this, but in the way that is breaks the linear patterns and actually brings a non-linear way of nature, that way of spontaneous expression. So I find that is something that widens our energy channels and opens up that radiant field of the energy body. So that's basically energetic cultivation. So movement first, but then specific type of movement, with movement with awareness, movement with choosing to do it for the sake of energetic cultivation.
Yes. And what I love most about like your wisdom and your teaching is that they really inspired me to let go. And so once again, letting go of those preconceived notions about my actual body, about my sexuality, about myself as an erotic being. And now more recently, like as the creatress of my own reality. So I guess my question would be to you, why is it so important to continuously challenge, the status quo, challenge kind of how you were naturally and how many of us are most likely on this, in this retreat. We like to question things, but why is it so important to, continuously seek those deeper truths in order to align more with this abundant?
Yeah, it's a beautiful point. Yeah, it's important because if we don't, we age. And age not even in terms of like years, but we age like the soul dies, basically. Because for the soul to be alive, like there needs to be constant growth. And if we abide by the conditioning that we are imprinted, and now it's very loud in the collective consciousness, this kind of collective hypnosis that we are just bombarded by from all directions, and that disconnects us from a very important thing in a human life, the free will. So if we don't allow ourselves to question and to find our ways, and there's a way to question like in a rebellious way, like whatever they tell me, they put rules on me, I will go against it. That's a rebellion. That's like trying. It's a wound pattern. It's like a traumatic thing from mother wound or father wound. Something trying to prove our worth. Like when we do that, when it's like you need to prove that you matter, that you belong, that you have an opinion. Okay, that's something to heal. That's something to work with. But then once we're past that, if we can catch that pattern and don't entertain that, then it's like, okay, just who do you trust? Who do you trust? Do you trust the opinion of others? And do you make the opinion of others about you or about what you should do with your life mean more than your own opinion? Where do we give away the authority? Do we let others make us feel a certain way, make us feel empowered, make us feel good, make us feel comfortable or something? Or do we constantly bring it to ourselves and to challenging any complacency there, any way in which we want to just disconnect from the power, really? And when we do that, we lose the free will. The less we choose in life consciously, the more we disconnect from the free will, and the more we disconnect from the soul, and the more we disconnect from the aliveness.
And ultimately our creative potential, right? Because we're not using it's more passive. It's our subconscious that is going to end up creating for us versus like what we actually want. Yeah, beautiful. Good. Such a powerful point and reminder. And I guess what I would love to know from you and your perspective is, a lot of us in this circle, in this inner circle of, this sisterhood of prosperity, I like to call it. A lot of us are running our own businesses. So I'm wondering, what would you say to a woman who's just like very mind-centered, because like most of us are, I know I am, who's like running her own business. Maybe she even has children, a family to take care of. She has her lover, her partner, but she's tired, she's depleted, she's shut down, and maybe feeling like she's falling into this victim mentality, although she knows the teachings, she knows what she should be doing, but she continuously kind of just is feeling drained, and she can't align with that frequency of wealth that, that ecstatic wealth feels like it's all the way somewhere over there. What would you say to that woman?
I would say it's all about the why. If we don't know why, if we don't remember, if we don't hold our why as an anchor in our lives, it's very difficult to grow. If there's no sense of having a vision that is so big, you constantly have to rise to meet it. And that vision is not just something like, oh, well, it looks like a good idea. I see other people are doing this. It seems like a good business model to try. That vision, it has to come from deep inside. It's, I refer to it as a dharma. Yeah, when you lean into your dharma, and dharma is such a broad concept. It's so difficult to explain, really. But it's that sense of essence of your life, basically. It's that sense of your thread in the tapestry of humanity. So it's like when the why comes out from that space, it's like what I was sharing earlier. It's like the moment I understood that what I've been touching through my spiritual practice, the essence, which we can refer to as the quantum, or we can say the divine, the oneness, the universe. So it's all the same. Love, for example. I came to a point in my life where I realized that my life had no meaning unless there was love in it, in the center of it. If I really let go of everything, it's like if everything falls away, all the things that give me comfort, all the things that I love, relationships and comfort and home and job and all of it, if all of that falls away, then what is left? Mm-hmm. So I find that we need to go deep, right into that space. What is left if everything falls away? What is left?
Wow. Yeah. I love that. And were you going to say something? Sorry, I didn't want to cut you off.
If you have something on this, we can.
Yeah, I do have something on this actually, because in your Creator Masterclass series, I felt you had such an important message for all of us. And it was really around making this important shift that, when we're claiming our desires, when we're claiming that wealth consciousness, that ecstatic wealth, let's call it that, right? When we're claiming our heart's desires, at the same time, we need to be telling ourselves, I'm okay no matter what. And that kind of reminds me of if I have love, I'm okay. If, when it comes down to the bare bones essence of who I am, of what my life is for, I'm okay no matter what, even if I don't get this attain this idea of what I want. So yeah, if you want to speak deeper into that, I loved that so much.
Beautiful. I'm so happy you received that. And yeah, like the depth of the depth, like knowing that nothing can take that away. It's like, it's the bare bone, like you said, it's the core of the core. And then from this space, it's like, okay, what is the why that comes from this place? Like I can share for myself, like when I drop very deep at the core of what my life is about, if like without any fluff around, without anything personal, yeah, like really at the bone, in the core of the core. When I go there, and then from there, like what is the best use of my life? And I know the answer for me, and it is to serve that and to express that and to love that and just nurture that and give to that. And from there comes my why. And then I'm like, okay, my life is about really letting me unpack that which I feel on the inside, letting it take a shape, letting it take multiple shapes, letting it move and orchestrate my life. And from there, like, then the impact happens, then other people join the movement, then all the things, like, and they are beautiful things. But still, if I were to just focus on, I just want to make impact, or I just want to touch people, or I just want to generate wealth, it would become boring very quickly. But when it comes from the deepest core and then into the big why, then it makes sense. Then it makes sense why do you want to wake up half an hour earlier on some days and spend some time, whatever helps you, whatever nourishes, maybe taking a bath, maybe taking a shower, like while your children are sleeping, maybe doing something. If you know that it is for that, if it is for that big why, then everything makes sense. And this, for sure, you know what you said, that you find that we are so much in our minds. It's just a condition, yeah, it's like a human condition. So we have to create strategies to be smarter than the mind, and to let the mind be the servant rather than the king. And there, like, the strategy for women, for those women who really want to live from our feminine essence, to live fulfilled as a woman, not as a talking head and a thinking head and a strategizing head, but it's like we have life to live, women. Like that's the thing. And then if we were to just kind of stay in this kind of mind way of just kind of moving through life, then think about this, like what happens when you look back? What happened in the last day? What happened in the last month? What happened in the last year? What happened in the last 10 years? Wouldn't it be sad to come to the end of our lives and realize that we forgot to live?
Yes. Yeah.
You know, people who have near-death experiences, it's like they die, but then they come back. They all say the same thing. Like there was incredible research about this, and all the people say the same thing, that they realized. But first of all these people became very spiritual when they came out, even if they had nothing to do with spirituality, they all really connected to the divine. And they all said that I have to have fun in life, and I have to spend time with people I love, and I have to have joy in life. Like these were the main things. No one said I have to work more, I have to strategize more.
That's such an important lesson. And yeah, just remembering too, that you pointed this out in your series as well, about like, you know, living life with moments of joy and aliveness and centered around play and fun, you know. And I think that's such an important reminder for all of us.
Yes, it's huge, you know, especially for business owners. And it's like it's a devotional practice. It's like dedication to that. I have to remind myself about this. I tend to get very serious, I have to say, even though I'm talking because I know the importance of it, not because I got it easy, but because I know the importance, and I know how quickly it lifts me up and how it makes me magnetic, and how my clients and the wealth responds to my magnetism, not to my strategy and not to my overthinking. But it's really that sense of it's like how sexuality is so pleasurable and it serves the purpose of procreation. So it's like nature made it like this for us. It's like a trick. Nature tricked us into like enjoying it so much so that life just goes on, just basic, like that's what it's about. In the same way, having fun and joy in life is something that makes us magnetize more beauty and lets the universe and life express itself through us. Because then we become, then this energy body is richer, then we are more conducive to the universal flow, and then like we are more fully participating in the design of the universe, in the design of that takes us into the next step of the evolution of humankind. Like I believe there is also that agenda in the universal law, and our fun and our joy actually supports that like nothing else.
I love that. And I love what you just said about like my magnetism is more important in attracting my clients versus like my thinking or my strategy. I just love that. That's such a great takeaway. Yeah. So how about I just ask you, just fire off some first thoughts about like when I say feminine power and prosperity, what are your first thoughts about these two concepts?
Feminine power and prosperity. I think about the lower body. I think about the womb, the hips of a woman. I think about how our power is actually seated there, not here. Like really, it's in our hips, and how in the tantric tradition, the vulva, the feminine genitalia, the yoni, also referred to as a yoni in Sanskrit, it's considered to be the gateway to the universe. And there are practices that involve just gazing upon the yoni, and these practices tend to take us into profound states of consciousness on recognizing the universe with our open eyes. So this is some of the tantric incredible work that I also do, and that's been a big part of my work. And so that's like, it's not just some kind of woo-woo mystical weird stuff. It's actually very specific pointer at the feminine nature. That for a woman, wake up your yoni, wake up your sexuality, wake up your wisdom. This is the power. And the prosperity responds exactly to power. And the quantum responds to power. The quantum responds to aliveness, to magnetism, to powerful, strong energy. And when we cultivate our sexual energy, that's when our power wakes up.
Yes. You have many courses that help awaken that sexual energy. Activated Woman is one of them. Very powerful. So I guess that's beautiful. And I guess to close, I would love to ask you one final question, which I like to ask all my speakers, which is there one sacred feminine archetype that you feel you're embodying right now more fully? And in embodying it, how do you believe that it will help change our world?
Wow. Well, I've been very identified and very connected to the priestess archetype. And she is the one who is the bridge between the world of the spirit and the world of our personality, the mundane world. So, she is the one who sees the true nature of things. She's the one who is very developed in her seeing and her capacity to perceive things really as they are, not through the prism of conditioning and so on. So the priestess is a very cultivated archetype in me, for sure. I also used to have a priestess school. That was one of the business models I was working with, and it was amazing. It created amazing impact and transformation in many women. So I feel her very strong. I'm also very focused on developing my queen right now, and the queen to me feels she has this sense of this really big, huge heart, and this capacity to hold in her heart a lot of complexity, a lot of everything, and let everything alchemize into pure love. So I love the Queen, and I am constantly inviting her to land into me.
I feel that. I feel that deeply. Beautiful. So, Sofia, would you like to offer a final message, a final activation, a final kind of closing way for women that are participating to kind of anchor this transmission into their body?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do a little practice, just a few minutes to let everything land, not just go on and do other things.
In our head.
Yeah, jump back to the head. Let's anchor that in the body. So I will invite you to find a comfortable seat. Let go if there are any distractions, let it all go. And close your eyes, and you can lean back also, and then start to connect with your breath and feel your whole body breathing. And as you breathe in, feel your chest rising, then feel your solar plexus, your belly, and then finally really letting this breath come down to your vulva, come down to your yoni. And with exhale, just relaxing and keeping your attention below, keeping it like letting your roots spread down into the earth. So inhale from your head down to the heart, to the belly, to the womb, to the yoni. And with exhale, letting everything spread into the earth. Let's breathe like that a few more times. And then relax your jaw also, and as you exhale and let the energy spread into the earth, allow a gentle sound. Notice there may be tension, tightness in the jaw. We really want to relax that. There may be tightness in the throat, which also will be pointing at the tightness in the pelvic floor. So inhaling and exhaling with a sound, allowing a sigh. And now start to feel your hips more and allow them to move. So if you're leaning back, you might want to come to vertical position and let your spine become free and loose. And feel your hips. You can move them in circles or from side to side or back and forth. Just awakening the base, awakening the womb, awakening those hips. I profoundly believe that every woman would spend 3, 4, 5 minutes every day moving her hips. The world will be a better place. As the women remember their power, their sensuality, their eroticism. This is such a giving. So feel the activation, feel the warmth in your pelvis. Now place your hands also on your lower belly. You can hold your hips. Feel this part of your body. If you're touching and you're noticing some judgment around, like, oh, I'm too fat, I need to do this, or the belly is too big or something. Notice those judgments and let them go. Now we want to go into the body from inside, feeling the beauty, the wisdom that's inside your body, that's not in your conditioning and your understanding of how your body should be or should look, but the wisdom is on the inside. So feel the warmth, the aliveness in your hips. There may be a sense of pleasure, a sense of desire there. This is beautiful, this is welcome also. Keep moving the hips, your breath stays deep, long. Keep your jaw relaxed. And now start to feel, what does prosperity mean to you? And what does ecstatic wealth or ecstatic prosperity mean to you? How does it feel in your body? Let your body show it to you. How does the prosperity feel to your body? Maybe you want to take a bit more space with your movements, or maybe you notice that you stopped moving and kind of got more into your head. And so now I invite you to come back into the body and take even more space. Maybe even allow your arms to expand and to stretch. Maybe your neck becomes really loose. Feel that sense that you are entering into prosperity with your energy, with your embodiment, with your flow. You are becoming a magnet to prosperity, a magnet to ecstatic wealth. And notice what emotions come up with that sense of being a wealthy woman, a prosperous woman. How does that feel? Does it feel freeing? Does it feel powerful? Does it feel uplifting? Really feel those feelings. Maybe you feel generosity and gratitude. And then you can slow down the movement and just stay with the feelings. And let those feelings really be felt. And you can make now a statement to yourself, whatever you choose to embody. You can say to yourself, I now choose to embody the ecstatic, wealthy woman that I am. I now choose to fully anchor into my inherent ecstasy, into my inherent prosperity. And you can also say it out loud if it's possible in your space. I now choose to embody the wealthy woman that I am. Feel how it vibrates in your body, how it resonates in your body. And place like a bookmark here in this space. You can always come back to it. It is yours. And take a deep breath. Thanking yourself for this moment of being with yourself, for this practice. And another breath, and come back to our space.
Oh, so coming back, but it did bookmark that space because it was really special. Wow. Sofia, thank you so much. That was so beautiful, so empowering. I definitely feel my energy body stronger right now, more vibrant, more magnetic. So thank you so much.
Super.
Did you want to share briefly about your free gift before we close?
Yeah, sure. So the creator masterclass that you've mentioned, so I felt that it would be a perfect offer to the women. We are only women, right? I think.
Yes, women.
Yeah. So for the women who are joining, because I also work with men.
Yes.
But I've created a page for you where you can go and view all the classes. There were 3 classes during the masterclass, so you can go and connect with the 3 of them with this whole masterclass. So on the day 1, I spoke about the laws of the quantum field and how to really become a match for the kind of life we want to have, how to really draw the desires towards us. On day 2, I spoke about 2 different types of shadow, the golden shadow and the dark shadow. It's really, if we want to do work on creating our reality, we have to address the shadows. So that's a really important day also there. And on day 3, I spoke about the aligned action, which also sometimes is overlooked, because then, if we go into like, okay, it's all just about altering my vibration, but then no, it's actually also about doing things. So that's what I addressed on day 3. So it's for you. Enjoy that. Thank you so much.
I'm sure they will all love it. I have loved it so much, and today was such a joy. Thank you so much for honoring us with your wisdom and your gifts. Thank you, Sofia.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure
Bye,
to speak with you.
everyone. Yes, you too. Bye, everyone.